What's up? Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about a time that I took 25I NBOMe. But before we get into it, let me start off this video by saying that I am a recovering addict. I've got over 4 months of sobriety right now, and YouTube and other outlets help to keep me sane and sober. So, with that being said, here's what happened. So this was probably around 2015. At the time, I had no idea what 25I even was or how dangerous it was. I had never heard of it. I just thought we were taking normal acid. I didn't know that real acid was tasteless because I failed to do any research back then, and I was just an addict looking to get trippy for a night. So we were at my friend's girlfriend's house, and it was 3 of us. It was my friend Caleb and my friend Matt. Now me and Matt didn't really hang out that much. We worked together and that was about it. But Caleb, however, was and still is one of my closest friends, like a brother to me. So we're chilling in the living room and we decide that we're gonna go ahead and take our tabs. I think me and Caleb took 4 each and Matt took 2. First thing I remember was the taste. It was very bitter and kind of minty, and it made my tongue go completely numb. So the thing with 25I and taking that much of it, it comes on a lot quicker, at least in my experience with it, and the come up is a lot more intense and anxiety inducing. And in my opinion, the trip is a lot more faster paced, I guess would be the way that I'd put it. So anyways, 15 minutes zooms on by and we're already all starting to come up. We had the TV on and I remember the sounds started becoming like a lot more crisp and had a slight reverb to it. And whether it's acid or 25I, I always get anxiety on the come up. And I think that's normal for most people because it's an intense body load and your conscience is like rapidly shifting. But the anxiety, for me at least, usually only lasts through the come up. So I figured once this passed, I'd be okay and it'd be a good trip. So about 30 minutes in, I'm starting to get really uneasy and everything is getting way too intense for me. Like, next to me there was this big framed picture of a guy riding a horse in this big ass field. And I remember looking at it and it looked like the picture had like come to life. Like I could see the horse kind of galloping and the guy was riding on it, like going with the motion, and like all the grass and the trees in the picture were like blowing in the wind and the colors in the grass were just insane. While everything else in my surroundings is just melting and shifting, like being in this magical underwater world. Voices from the TV were speaking directly to me and everything just felt so personal, and I felt like the universe was like throwing all kinds of stuff my way. All while the sounds are just resonating through my brain. And it was just very intense. Like an hour and a half in, my anxiety was still there and the drug had almost taken its full-on effect. And it was only getting worse now because my auditory was just so fucked up. I remember I would hear like this weird echoey, freaky chanting noise. And I closed my eyes and I could hear Matt's voice, but it sounded very robotic and alien-like. And it sounded like it was doing a full 360 around my brain. And like slowly though, and I could just hear him keep talking in that weird alien robot voice going around my head. And I remember sitting there and I started hearing this like weird electrical kind of noise. It was getting closer and I could almost kind of see it. Like I heard it and I felt it pass right through me. It was like a huge electrical barrier. Like the sound was so intense. It was like... And my closed eye visuals were just insane. Like it's hard to describe what I was seeing, but I'll put a little background for you to look at, and that's basically what I was seeing the whole time. So I'm seeing this go on the whole time, and meanwhile my leg is shaking so much from the nervousness and anxiety that I'm getting. And about almost 2 hours in, it was starting to get to be way too much for me. I thought that I was dying. I remember seeing these flashing red and blue lights outside the house, and I thought it was the ambulance there to pick me up, and I thought I was dying, and I thought I could hear my parents outside like talking, and my insides felt like they were literally turning into mush and they were just falling apart. Just my friend told me that I kept saying, I need to go see my parents, they're outside, I gotta talk to them. And he would take me outside to show me that there's nobody there, and I would calm down for a few minutes, but then I would just go right back into the intensity. And I remember I needed to use the restroom, and I had to walk through, to get to the restroom I had to walk through this long hall, and then I would have to go into his girlfriend's room, pitch black room, dark as hell. I can't turn the light on because she's sleeping. And I had to try to navigate my way to the bathroom in this pitch black darkness. Like all I could see was like what you saw earlier, what I was seeing in my closed eye visuals, and like colors and constant motion, if that makes any sense. I was blind basically. I did finally manage to find the restroom and get the light on somehow. I sat down in the toilet for a minute and I figured, okay, I'm just gonna try my hardest to just try to get my composure back and just breathe. the bathroom was kind of messy looking to me, and the colors were like all off, and nothing seemed right. It just put me into a really weird and negative headspace. Like, I remember looking at the ground and there was just kaleidoscope patterns just all over the floor. And also, it was very quiet in the bathroom, which for me, on any kind of psychedelic, is far from okay. I don't like not having any noise going on in the bathroom, because when it's just silence, it's just you and your mind and nothing else. And things can start to get a little bit too much for you in that kind of situation. And I can just barely hear the noise from the living room, and it sounded like it was like looping, and it was doing those freaky ass chants. It was just a really bad headspace to be in at that moment for me. So I finish up, exit the bathroom, try my hardest to navigate and get to the exit of the room, somehow managed to do that. Back to the living room, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I'm not as anxious anymore, but like things were still very intense. Like, we're only like maybe 3 hours in at this point, so this drug was still going very strong. My friend decided that we should maybe just go outside, take a little walk. You know, it's nighttime, got a nice breeze out, it might help calm me down some. So we go outside, we're walking on this road, and I actually do start to feel like a little bit better. I remember looking up at the stars, and it looked as if they were like right in my face, even kind of dancing. And it was great, but the body load of this drug was still very much there. Like, I was still anxious, just not nearly as bad as I was earlier. And we head back inside, and Matt had rolled a blunt for us to smoke. And I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I just thought maybe, okay, this might help calm me down even more. And I guess it did, because whenever we finished the blunt, my friend told me that I kept asking him if we can smoke more. And he knew that I didn't need to, because to be fair, I don't even have any recollection of asking that. Like, I'm not usually one to say, hey, let's smoke more. Like, I'm usually good after one hit. I do, however, remember after we smoked, the trails from my hand were so like colorful, and they lasted forever. And like, I would keep feeling my trails go back into my hand, so it would like, and I would just feel it like go in my hand. Some weird shit. Now I was just sitting in this chair, just melting into it, and then I would snap out of it every once in a while, and then I would just go right back into it. Apparently I just kept doing that and ended up just tripping myself to sleep, which I guess probably was for the better, considering that trip was just way too much for me. Things were just, yeah, no, it's just really shitty drug. 25i sucks. But not too long after that, I realized that real acid was tasteless, and I figured out what I had been taking most of those times that I tripped, and why it may have had some of the effects that it did on me. And it probably rewired my brain in some potentially very negative ways. But I haven't done 25i since. Once I found a guy who had legit blotter, things changed from there. Everything changed from there as far as the psychedelic world goes for me. But anyways, yeah, that is my story of the 25i experience. Guys, if you made it this far, it truly means a lot to me. If you enjoyed the story, do me a favor and leave a like and leave a comment telling me about your experience, or what you thought about this experience, or hell, just say what's up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you'd like. I'm going to try to keep uploading and being pretty consistent for the most part, and YouTube has been an amazing outlet for me these past few months. Like, views or not, I just enjoy talking about these experiences, and it keeps me sober, so I'm gonna keep it up. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.